It's like that. We back for episode 42. Long way we have come since episode 19. Now we're at 42. Wow. Just like that, we back again. Who's fighting? Kam Gee, LT. How have you guys been? Been a eventful weekend. Let me know how you guys been and how you been coping.
Man,
I mean, rolling with the punches. Rolling with the punches.
Rolling with the punches.
If I can say anything, being a Mavericks fan,
Oh yeah.
with this, this trade that makes no sense at all. So trying to make sense of it, but it's no rationale. So we move on. We roll with it. Because we have no other choice.
definitely an action-packed weekend.
Man,
Action pack.
a lot of action.
Double 2 days of boxing. How about that? A weekend, 2 days of boxing. You get a Saturday and then you get a Sunday. Well, quality wise, man, it may differ, but it may not be the same type of.
Look, hey, I'm all for Sunday boxing though. Sunday boxing is I'm with that.
I like that. I like Sunday boxing.
I can get behind that.
Yeah. So, action-packed weekend. Action-packed weekend. Not only boxing, MMA has some upsets and some things that we will discuss here as we proceed with the show. Ladies and gentlemen, like we say, we are the team who's fighting. And by the way, I like the merch. I like the seeds.
Man.
I noticed that there's something new that has been cooking in the LT
Well,
and
yeah,
Vibe
man.
camp.
So we for the record, the seeds is going viral again. So it's like
What?
The third win. It's like the third time, right?
yeah, man, we got like 4 million views in 5 months on YouTube
Wow.
alone. So
Wow.
yeah.
That's something.
And then
Right.
yeah, shout out to Drew Vision Cinema. The Seeds is like a cult classic now, I guess, or something like that. And
Shout out to Blue Vision.
Also the company has completed its second film, so that's set to be released on Valentine's Day.
Okay.
What's the title of this film?
That one is called Snooze.
Snooze.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm trying to like draw lines to see what that may mean in relation to it being dropped on Valentine's Day.
Well,
Yeah.
the official trailer's out already, so look that up. Snooze, Drew Vision Media.
Okay.
Yeah.
We can put that in the description down on our YouTube. Just for a little shameless plug here and there. So
Absolutely.
yeah.
Oh yeah.
How about you, Kam Gee? What you been working on?
Oh man, getting ready for a fight March 1st, April 12th. I actually got a Golden Glove competitor that I do strength and conditioning for this weekend, actually this Saturday. So we're gonna check them out. Check out the Golden Gloves competition this weekend. Got my son, he's growing.
Yeah.
Crawling, trying to crawl, trying to eat a little bit. It's beautiful. So and then can't complain, man. It's just busy. It's every day. It's every day around here.
Can't complain.
Yeah.
Yeah, let's just dive right into it. Action-packed weekend.
Let's go.
Let's jump it off with what happened this Saturday with Premier Boxing. Okay, we had Mr. Benavidez versus David Morrell. We had the previous show we did. I liked it. We kind of we shared with the audience our thoughts. It was just uncut. What you see is what you're gonna get. Even on Instagram, we shared our thoughts, and I think Mr. Kam Gee was kind of spot on in how he anticipated this one to go. So, Kam Gee, can you take center stage on how you did? Like a magic act and just guessed what's going. You predicted the future.
Oh man, it was a perfect style matchup. as far as Morrell, Benavidez, but Benavidez having more experience with elite fighters. I really weighed heavily the experience with Triple G. It's gonna weigh heavily throughout his whole career. Obviously, it makes him a tough guy to do anything with. David Morrell was able to use his athleticism, rhythm changes, being in the southpaw stance. A lot of those things lent well to the fight. But like I was saying on Instagram, Strap, you said it, like as far as the volume punching, it was just too much. I just didn't think that he would get a fighter of Dave Morrell's pedigree out of there. I just didn't see it. He's a strong young dude. A lot of pride with that, but Dave Benavidez, he's a different guy, man. I know they call him a monster, but to me, he's more like a Terminator.
Yeah,
you know. And I really enjoyed that fight. Very competitive. Like I said on Instagram, I feel like there will be a rematch at some point. I think that'll be something. You know, maybe both guys get 2 or 3 more fights under their belt. They're still young, very marketable to run that back at some point. So. You know, we give it like around 18, maybe 15 to 18 fights under his belt, and then I could see that happening again.
Dope. Did you, in the early stages, you think you seen what Ward was showing him in action?
Fighting a lefty.
Not really. maybe at times, but it's hard to, you know, hop in the gym and try to implement something right away. I think he can. I think he has the ability to do so. Some of the footwork, I think still, if you want to criticize him, you know, that could be something that could be worked on. I think that was a result. The knockdown was a result, I thought, of the footwork maybe being a little loose with the footwork. Because it wasn't a knockdown. It was a trip, which happens in the southpaw orthodox matchup frequently. You just don't see guys typically lose their balance and actually have their gloves touch the ground. So luckily for him, it wasn't costly. And I may be more of a David Morrell fan watching him, seeing the style and the toughness. Because David Benavidez, like I said, he's a Terminator. And I really don't see even you know, I know we'll probably project other fights, but it's really hard to see him being beat at that division. Bivol, Benavidez, like. You know, those are some interesting fights to be had, but he might be on top of all those guys.
Interesting.
That was an interesting round too, because essentially that knockdown or called knockdown was kind of nullified. Then I was trying to do the math, so I guess with the late hit by David Morrell after Benavidez flurry, referee docked it 1 point, and it became a 9-8 round,
right?
Instead of a 10-8 round.
Right.
Correct.
You don't see that often.
Mm-hmm. I don't know. What did y'all think about the point deduction? Sometimes you see that happen where you thought it was egregious enough to warrant a point deduction.
I think it's because the referee's standing in between there.
Yeah, I
think he kind of has to, has to establish that.
Right.
Which the magnitude of the fight too can affect what the referee's decision is going to be, because
he took some damage. He took a flush. He took a flush punch and had a little damage. It even looked like he kind of wobbled a little bit, but yeah, amazing fight. It's hard. We're not used to seeing Benavidez on the back foot, and we saw that at times in the fight. There, even though it's wild, he won the fight decisively, but there were times when you saw the talent of Morrell kind of pop off the screen a little bit.
I was definitely screaming that he hold the phone now, hold the phone. Don't get too cocky, don't get too comfortable.
Yeah. He got something though. He got something.
This is a topic, and I love boxing Twitter. We saw the fight, but did the judges really get it right?
118, 108 is insane. We have to like did we get the AI judging? Can we did we get AI judging on this fight? Because that would be one I want to compare that 118, 108 to, because 115, 111. I mean that seems about right. You know, if you don't have the deduction, I'm guessing that those
Right.
scores are 115, 112.
Mm-hmm. And you know, like
close fight.
All over Twitter, questions, and I wrote points here on my phone, what I was seeing on Twitter. Things that kept on popping up when you hashtag Benavidez versus Morrell was it a clear win? Another hashtag, you know, following that hashtag, a razor close decision, and then the next one that I saw was controversial call. So people were just confused about the judges and what they decided about this fight because they didn't give and I'll also say with myself, because I'm such a Benavidez fan, I didn't see that from Morrell, to be honest. And I was pleasantly surprised how, first of all, I didn't know Morrell is a big dude like that too. I thought Benavidez, because on the numbers they say Benavidez is about 6'2.5", Morrell is about 6'1", maybe 6 foot. But when they were standing close to each other, Morrell was not small.
Yeah,
so
more athletic build, and Benavidez is just big.
And I was telling my gal, like, Morrell looks like a baseball player in there.
Right.
In Cuba, so.
Right.
I could tell like he was in better, maybe I'm wrong, but my eyes told me that Morrell may look like he's in better shape. Benavidez is a pressure fighter, you know. But Morrell looked like, bro, I got the endurance. Like, you throwing all these, but we could keep dancing. And that's why the later rounds, they were kind of deceiving to me. And I was like, Morrell is kind of getting better. And of course, there was a deceptive knockdown. I mean, so they still counted it as a knockdown. But fellas, what do you think about that? Do you think it was a unanimous decision? And that's why I agree. There needs to be a next fight, but according to the boxing streets, they were like, nah, this was definitely a Benavidez win, but I don't think it was that. I don't think it was that far of a distance of like you blew him out the water. So
unanimous just means that all three of the judges agree.
Yeah.
So
I think a lot of people would not, you know, a 7-5, you know, as far as the split goes, which means that if you're judging that fight, a round could go one way or the other. Or there's a lot of toss-up rounds in there, but it just signified a close fight. And Morrell did perform well at times, especially later in the fight, which is why I do think that they'll run it back at some point, because we haven't seen the damage from Benavidez. But David Morrell has to go out and look impressive moving forward. Taking damage like that in a fight can alter your career. So he needs to come out of some of the next 2 or 3 fights, minimal damage, so he can get back to this, because he probably will be fighting a Bivol or Benavidez again down the line.
Right. It's going to be, you predicted Bivol losing the rematch. Is what it sounds like.
Yes. Yeah. I think
that's what I was thinking. So like, Morrell probably gets the loser of, if Bivol loses again, then that's an easy, clear matchup. And then Benavidez versus Beterbiev is obviously, but there can become some difficulty if Bivol makes an upset here on the 22nd, right?
Mm-hmm.
And then things become more complex, and that rematch against Benavidez and Morrell may come sooner than we think.
Right. There's some possibilities there. I mean, Bivol is
capable. If they're in the need of a third Bivol versus Beterbiev, then put the rematch for Morrell and Benavidez on the undercard.
Yeah, there you go.
In Saudi Arabia.
Right. Hey, you give them a lot of game, bro. So just check the matchups and see how they play out, because you know you're dropping game right here.
A whole lot of money to be made.
I gotta take a little bit of time. We have some people viewing our show on YouTube. We need to say this more often. We like, comment, subscribe if you've not yet, so we can engage with y'all and make this interactive. So we can pull up some of your comments and in real time engage with you on the thoughts of what you think we are talking about. But we really appreciate you guys, stopping by late in the evening to watch our show. So just thought I would add that, a little bit of, salute to all those people watching.
It's the execs from the other shows.
All
They're looking for
right.
material for tomorrow.
All right.
Yeah, show
We see
yourself in the section. Just confirm or deny, say if LT's on to something. LT be on to something, y'all.
Yeah,
Or just throw us an offer. We willing to
Consistently.
collab.
all right.
Right.
So
The information is intact.
have
I
we
scared one away.
Yeah, there you go.
have we milked this topic of the two Davids? Do you think Benavidez stays at 168 and or is he Canelo chasing? Or what are we doing now with what's next for Benavidez?
He's the number one. He's the number one contender at 75. This match happened at 75.
Oh, okay.
So yeah, this was a number one contender match for light heavy. So
Right. Expecting a matchup with the winner of Benavidez Bivol, assuming Benavidez wins. Now, I don't know if y'all want to touch base real quick on what we think if that is the matchup.
we got a couple weeks.
Yeah. Okay.
Another guy. What? Wait. No. He's. I was going to say Ilunga, the Congolese guy. I think he's a cruiserweight. He's not.
Cruiser.
Well, if that, and then so he's already said if he can't get that fight, then Benavidez wants to go up and fight Gilbert Ramirez for his. I believe he's got 2 of the 3 or something like that at cruiserweight. So
Benavidez looks like a cruiserweight. His body type and everything.
Yeah. I was talking to a friend of mine, and he's a big diehard David Benavidez fan. And one way he described him, and it's true. He says Benavidez is death by 1,000 cuts. Like he may not hit you with that one, tank one punch, but he's gonna cut you so many times that you eventually gonna die. Like he's one of those. He's just death by 1,000 cuts. Like, and I wouldn't want to be in a ring. That's why he's the monster. You don't want to be in a ring with a guy who's relentless and ruthless like that, just constantly applying pressure. And if he went to cruiserweight, I don't know how that would affect his volume. I don't know, but he does have the frame and the size to dance in that weight category. But hey, if that translates in with the big boys, why not? I would like to see him there.
Hey, but they gave us a great fight this weekend, man. And that's all we could hope for. We knew a lot of people felt Benavidez would come on top, but we didn't know how competitive the fight would be. So, big shout out to David Morrell going out there and put on an amazing performance. And look forward to seeing both fighters back in the ring here soon.
Let's go on to the next
fight. Pitbull. So we have Isaac Cruz versus Angel Fierro. Am I saying that? Fierro? I didn't know.
Yeah, this fight right here.
Fierro. Okay. I watched this fight. But I want to be first with my take on this. Who wants to take on this first?
Man, I thought Fierro could have knocked out Pitbull. He had him dazed a little bit and got to head hunting, and Pitbull was able to recover.
Yeah,
he wasn't up on the cards, but he had an opportunity to get him out of there, and he did not pursue that. I thought in the best way. But from Pitbull, he was who he was. We actually saw him on his back foot a little bit this fight, which we have not. I don't think we've seen.
Fierro had heart. I've not seen people just stand in Pitbull's way like that. I mean, he got assaulted still, but he had heart. He had heart. Like
I was a little concerned that maybe Pitbull was becoming domesticated with that new haircut he's got.
Hey, right. He's sleeping on them satin sheets now.
And
looking
like the Buddy Lee doll.
No. and bro is taking some punishment here recently. We got boxed by Valenzuela. Lost to a Tank, but he took some punishment this fight. But I didn't think he like dominated him, but I did feel that Fierro showed a lot of toughness, a lot of grit, and I really thought he had an opportunity when he had pit bull days to go to the body, try to go to the head. He covered up. He was able to recover. I think if he goes to the body, I really thought Cruz would have been out of there. So, but another great fight on the undercard.
Did Angel show some weaknesses about Pitbull that we never saw? I mean, Pitbull, not saying he's the bully most of the time, but when you stand up to him and you go blow for blow, trade with him, I mean, he still did damage. I mean, salute to Angel.
He can be hurt. That's what we saw. He can be hurt. You know, I don't know if we saw that.
And he's fighting from angles that Pitbull is not used to seeing punches coming from.
Right.
How
old is Pitbull? It's like he's been around for a long time. I'm gonna Google that.
He's on that track now, though. He's got to stay busy, maximize his career. But when guys take punishment in fights like that, it does do something to the rest of your career. So that punch resistance, we can think about a Tyson Fury here recently. Pitbull is 26, still a young man.
Wow.
Yeah.
Wow. He's been around for a minute. Like, wow. He's only 26. And I remember seeing him in 2019. That's like 6 years ago. So he was in his 20s. Let me see. Pitbull has been around for a minute. So
he has.
So he definitely he has you're right. He's been active. He's been active.
We're just slightly more aware.
It behooves me to think like Pitbull definitely one of the most feared people at one time, and he did walk with an aura about him where saying fighters like at one time they were like Haney dodging Pitbull, this person dodging Pitbull, and his mystique is starting to go away a little bit, but he is who he is still. He is still, I don't say he's 26. I won't call him like a gatekeeper, a guy to go through to go to the next level. But geez, in my mind, I was thinking he's like in his 30s and he's had some of the best days in his past. But 26 just rechanged my whole thoughts about him.
And he goes for it without a single jab in his repertoire. It is wild that how he's able to collect these wins without basically throwing a jab. Like the jab does not exist, and he is, spamming the right hand, overhand right, the digging shots to the body, and the relentless pressure.
All gas, no brakes, boy. He headbutts a punch, like he. I mean, he fought. Did he fight Tank and not get knocked out? Right, he's one of the few people Tank full 12s, right?
And Tank actually had commentary about his punching power as well.
Yeah, so like Pitbull is, I mean, I don't think he's too young to like adjust. I mean, you could still adjust him to, but now he won this fight, but I saw this fight, I was like, oh snap! I don't know if that's sustainable. That's
just more his it's just more his stature and his archetype, I guess is what they call it.
Right. Playing to his strengths without a jab. So you gotta take it for what it is. Pitbull on the undercard, on the ticket. Hey, people are showing up.
Yeah. So. Does he? Am I getting this comparison wrong? Does he remind you of Marcos Maidana a little bit? Just a little bit. Like
a little bit. I mean,
I think Maidana was more of a polished boxer.
Yeah, he was a little tricky with his over. Yeah,
but he would throw that overhand right.
Yeah. Anyway, salute to you, Isaac Pitbull, and my apologies for thinking you're old. You're still young. You're still out here. You still have a lot of more fights. I was thinking you're like, your 30s. I've been seeing you fight for a long time. So, all right, Philly's on. I wish I could share that fit, but for some reason I could not convert any of my YouTube things to JPEG so I could put them on StreamYard. But bro, he broke the internet. And we're talking about Steph Felton, cool boy. By the way, he did reclaim the WBC featherweight title by defeating Brandon. How do you say the last name?
Figueroa.
I don't know why am I bringing up his fit, not the performance, because he did great. He did great. So, fellas, help me out here. Cool boy Steph fighting at a featherweight.
I mean, he basically beat Brandon post to post. I mean, it seemed like Brandon kind of came in with this thing with like this arrogance. I don't know. Is it arrogance, overconfidence?
A little
And
overconfident.
he quickly found himself in a hole, and he wasn't able to dig himself out. And
yeah, and
basically looked like he was very confident, even though he lost the first matchup. He thought he won, and did not seem to make any adjustments. Whereas Mr. Fulton came in and he was very sharp, footwork smooth, worked the ring. Took his corner's advice. The corner gave great advice, and he was able to, basically he boxed circles around Figueroa for the whole fight.
Yeah,
and he did it in some Timbs. So even more impressive than anything. But that was it was good to see, because I know we've talked on the show. I think it was me that was saying, all right, we want to see him perform well before we can even round back and have that conversation about Mr. Inoue out in Japan.
This is one of those examples where you say, okay, I don't need to change anything. I'm just going to come in and do what I did the last time because I felt like it was enough. And the guy who actually won said, the other guy goes, no, I'm going to come in and be even better than I was the first time.
Right.
And leave no doubt. So,
I know Steph, he bounces from 26 to 30, let me see, to 130, right?
22.
Yeah, he's bouncing 126, 130, I think. I may be wrong, but why I like Cool Boy Steph is because he reminds me of, not to the level of Floyd, but his counter punching is elite. He's one guy who gives you who takes a risk to get what he needs to get, right? And I think when he got beat by Inoue and showed the heart that of a champion, even in that defeat, was because he risked a lot. He still did that in this fight, and that's why I think Brandon Figueroa thought that he had won because of the volume that he was throwing, but the accuracy was all on my man Cool Boy's side because his counter punching was so nice and clean and sharp. So it's one of those things that I like a good redemption story, but what remind me is Inoue at super feather, what they call it, what's where Inoue fighting?
He fought at 122 when they fought.
Okay,
so I think that's super bantam.
Super bantam. So okay, so if he's reclaimed this featherweight, if he goes back to Inoue, do you think he has a two? I mean, that his style is, to me, what I see, he counter punches a lot. He's not like an initiator or anything. Like he counter punches. Do you think that style would still? Does he have to adjust that fighting like a beast like Inoue if he went back at 122? Dare to be great again, I guess.
Well, for one, I don't think he should go down back to 122 because his last couple of fights been at 120, 126. It was different. Styles make fights. The style that he had against Figueroa, I don't think that works against Inoue, but he's intelligent enough. He made a mistake or what mistakes he made in the first fight with Inoue. I would not see him competing in the same form of fashion. I would think I would see a lot more jabs and a lot more movement around the ring and getting them off of his body. We saw Inoue get the stick jabs to the body, which with a fleet-footed fighter, you don't expect to get that long jab to the body. So an adjustment can be made. An adjustment can be made is all that I'm saying. But you can't fight him like how you found Figueroa.
Right. And I didn't know they fought before. So this was a sequel.
A rematch to a close fight.
Yeah, yeah.
And it was a contentious
they won.
Post fight. The Figueroa basically he was undefeated at the time.
Right.
So he was 22-0 and basically said, "Nah, you didn't win the fight." So, with how Strap broke it, I said how LT broke it down. Came in the first fight, fought a certain way, thought he won. Came in the second fight, tried to do the same thing. Cool Boy improves and dominates the fight.
So what do you see next, what do you see next for Cool Boy? If it's not going down to Inoue, do you see him fighting like what do you call him? Reyes Vargas? I think Ray Vargas, Ray Vargas, I think is another guy in that great category. And then they have that Ramirez guy. I forgot his first name. Ribas.
So I can pull up the super featherweight rankings.
Robesi Ramirez,
and get a more accurate depiction of it.
We have Ray Vargas, who's also a contender. Then we have
Navarrete. No, that's lightweight. We need featherweight. We need featherweight 126. I don't know how I got in that weight class. WBC rankings. Oh, that's our guy, our Shaq Foster.
Mm-hmm.
He's a WBC featherweight champion. Oh, he's a super featherweight champion. So one of the belts. Oh, Navarrete is in the division.
Do we have Vargas in there? Ray?
I'm looking at the WBC rankings. Somebody's just not on here. You have Eduardo Hernandez, Mark, the guy Sal, and Yakubov, and Kansei Sal, and then Ray Ford in your top of the pecking order at the WBC rankings.
Fair enough.
So look for those to be potential matchups.
Hey, salute, Cool Boy. Welcome back to Winning Ways. Welcome back to Holding the Strap. And strap season is happening, and I guess the division, boxing is always good when Philly is being represented. We have Boots, Philly's a boxing town, city, and it's always nice when Philly's represented. So
did y'all know they called him Scooter?
Yeah, that's how he got introduced in the ring as a Scooter.
Yeah, that was kind of confusing, but okay.
Right.
Is that his nickname?
Yeah, supposedly that sounds like a family name. So,
all right.
Scooter.
All right. So the prodigy himself, but was his last fight canceled because he was overweight, right? Or he didn't meet the weight for the thing, and he didn't.
He was way overweight.
Yeah, he was way overweight.
I don't remember what it was. I was like, we don't even need to talk about it. It was bad.
He was not professional, but he's 18. Kamal Martin did it again, man. It was all everywhere. He beat up he TKO'd Frank. Watch this, how I butcher this. Zaldivar. I think I said that right. Zaldivar. Frank Zaldivar.
Frank sound like a butcher.
Yeah, Frank. So it was. I did see this one through highlights. It was early on them fight cards. He knocked him out quick in the third round. It was just one of those. I want to say, if I was a hater, I would say a stab pad type thing. But he's building his reputation and doing his thing, and he showcased his little chain because his whole Monica or like little a symbol is like a gorilla that is kind of like albino, kind of. You seen his little his representation in his trunks and stuff. Like, I don't know.
His avatar, his logo.
Yeah, his little avatar, his logo, his branding is this albino gorilla, and I don't know how that works. And I want to be politically correct, But I wish Kamal, if you could, let us know what that is. But that's your brand, and I've noticed it. You have a chain where it's half you with the red dude with the freckles next to that gorilla. So I'm like, hey, I like it. That stuff is kind of fly. Um, I like the kid. I won't lie to you. It's just I have to just say it.
Is
It's
ape
Floyd
season.
chasing a new tank. I was holding that back. Is Floyd chasing Tank? Is Tank one of those drugs that you just gotta chase for the same product?
Mm.
It was Tank that much of a hot prodigy for TMT that you have to fight. You know, when you leave a girl and you date the same girl, the same gen,
Hey, man,
like
Tight.
the
tight.
same
Man,
Gotta
prototype.
type.
You got it tight.
Not
I
to be
think it's
funny,
the
because he's a good fighter, but it's just
if you remember Devin Haney was over there at one point.
Mm-mm.
I think it's the babyface assassin
Yeah.
marketability, right? At
Yeah.
one point, Floyd Mayweather was Pretty Boy Floyd.
Yeah.
You see what I'm getting at? They're looking for marketable stars. Does the
And that's
does
that's
the
the
aesthetic
biggest
match the yeah?
the skills. The skills, get the skills and the aesthetic. Boom. We got some in their eyes.
I know people in Vegas that have worked with the kid, and they're like, he's really, 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 really good. He's really good. It's just when people tell you they're really, really good, and they've seen a lot of fighters come through that gym. That says something. But again, these are regional guys. These are guys who have not been in Texas. They've not been to Philly. So there's something brewing in every city. There's always a really, really, really good dude in every city. So even in Newark, where you have the Shakur, like there's always a talented dude in every city. It's just how they are marketed and who's their promoter and how are they going to climb up and who do they know. But I've been hearing from a friend of mine. He's a personal trainer in LA and in Vegas, and he knows this kid. And he's like, yeah, he's been in the circuit for since he was a baby, since he was like young. So he's been fighting for a long time. So Floyd may have him one. Hopefully, he does not have any unprofessional episodes like he had the last fight where he was overweight. Like, we don't need to see that. I mean, let him climb up this ladder slowly, quietly, not making too much noise. Don't do, you just slowly climb up, and then next thing we know, that record is looking nice, and now you're you're fighting on the big stage with the big fighters, and hopefully you wash off that whole comparison thing, because I'll bet you they're going to compare him with fighters that have come through that camp. And not only me, it's just I'm not trying to be fake. I compared. I was like, oh, I've seen this play before. I've seen Floyd do this before. Talk about a fighter, kind of, we've seen it with AB, we've seen it with Tank, we've seen it with who else? He had Cambosa. One time he had one of them, the Cuban dudes. We've seen Floyd do this. Floyd say this is the greatest, like we've seen it, but
Hey, we just gotta accept where Floyd is right now in his career in boxing. He's gonna be the hype man. He's the Don King of the money team camp. And we'll just have to watch the fights.
Yeah,
we'll watch the fights and we'll see what happens from there.
And this is more of a question for you, Kam Gee. Sorry, you train fighters. Is it helpful for a fighter who's on the come up to be next to a big name, or is it kind of because when you're next to a big name, you are going to think you're the because I'm thinking Floyd is giving you cars to drive. I don't know what's happening. I'm just making up stuff in my mind, right? Floyd has plenty of cars in his house. He's like, yo, you could borrow that one. You could do this, and then you start living like a champion when you're not just a champ, right? And
you saying they got to get grimy.
I'm just
hands dirty.
Like, is it good to be associated to such a big name when you're on the come up? Do you need, because whenever I hear stories of good fighters, they say they love, like, I'll give you an example. Anthony Joshua has two houses. He has one where his kids stay, He has one where he stays during camp, and the one that he stays during camp is in Watford, a little city that he grew up in the UK that is in the hood, and it's like a small little bed that he sleeps on that reminds him of like the struggle, and he works out in that. That's where he goes. He moves from his little small house. He can't live in the mansion where his kids are during training camp.
Wait,
Same
this
thing.
is Joshua?
Yeah. He has a whole documentary where he shows people where he lives when he's getting ready. He cuts off everything. He cuts off family. I mean, he lives.
Are we seeing that toughness, that grittiness?
Exactly.
In the ring?
Exactly. So if you're young and you're getting chains, you're getting all this stuff before you get premier fights, is it helpful as a boxing developer?
Well, it goes down to more mentality than anything. Because like you were talking about Anthony Joshua, and he goes to sleep in the hood, but I don't feel a gritty fighter step into the ring when I watch Anthony Joshua. I see a little dog when I watch Morrell Moulton though.
Yeah, he is.
Regardless of where he's training at, who he's around, if he is one of those guys that become a true champion, though, the outside environments won't affect him because the inner dialogue and the will to be great is just too strong. You see that common with champions. So still young. I don't like seeing the weight miss. That basically saying he didn't want to take that fight, didn't want to fight, but showed up at the weigh-in, so he wasn't suspended by the sanctioning bodies and all that. But that's the difference. You could be around that stuff, but that doesn't mean that's who you are or who you become. As far as the environment, and you want to be paid as a fighter. So these guys get in those camps, they can leverage a little more money in their pockets earlier in their career than guys who I've been working with, working in these smaller circuits, working our way up through the ranks.
Mm-hmm. Well, thank you for answering that, because I was wondering how do you
mentality is everything.
You have everything you're around. Like I know with rap, it happens a lot. Like these rappers get signed and they're around this premier artist and they start to think the artist's lifestyle is similar to theirs, and they've not even dropped their first album. So that work ethic kind of like there's a sense of entitlement. I don't even know how to say it, but like, go work your own. Go build up your own resume. Go get your get your hit record.
Boxing will expose you. If that's what it is, boxing will expose you at some point. Guys get protected a lot, but boxing will expose you if you're able to succumb to those things. If you want to use Adrian Broner as a recent example,
but still, Adrian,
at some point,
he was a 3-time champion, though. At least he got to that level.
But what we can also say is that we felt cheated as fight fans to the greatness that Adrian Broner possessed. We felt like he was capable of more, and he started, what Bill Parcells used to say, reading the newspaper clippings, and got full of himself a little bit. And we did not, in my opinion, we did not see Adrian Broner, the greater fighter that we could see. 3-division champion is, to me, it's hard to criticize that because it's the belt, it's a champion. We have way more divisions than we used to have in our yesteryears, and I don't weigh that as heavily as someone like a Pacquiao or even a Floyd Mayweather or like a Mikey Garcia. You know what I'm saying? Like it's all contextual.
Hey, yo, real quick, shout out to Crawford's Loaded Gloves, dropping comments in the comment section.
Oh yeah, salute.
What it do? Oh, we missed it.
We can put his comments out there. So what? Let's read this comment.
That's what happened to Devin. He talking about Devin Haney.
Okay. Shout out to you, Crawford. He had another one, and this is kind of timestamp.
Yeah.
Got exposed. Man, salute to the little fraternity or like little tribe that we built with like boxing purists. I I've been seeing some of the shorts getting a little bit of arguments in there where people complain about some of the internal stories that we talk about.
All
But I
about.
love it.
That's what it's
I
all
love it.
about. I mean, damn you and your dumb opinion about boxing.
Right. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. This is what it's all about. So, yeah, absolutely. So, young fighter, Martin, man, salute to you. We want to see you be great. A lot of people say good things about you, and they say you're a good kid too. So, hey, the sky is the limit. You're only 18. You're getting these looks. You're on PBC. Hey, take advantage of it, and man, let's be professional. Let's be professional. Do we have any other boxing stuff that we want to cover before we get into any mixed martial arts? Let's talk about the queen.
Hey,
GOAT. Let's talk about the GOAT.
Sunday night boxing.
Hey, we need to make that a thing. Sunday night boxing needs to be a thing on the regular.
GOAT. So, Miss Shields, did you tell she came out with Papoose though? That kind of threw me off. I'm like, Yodi. Yo.
Hey, they said we're gonna do. Hey, they was in Flint, Michigan. So
hey,
I don't know if you saw the crowd.
I've been building onto this.
You know where we at.
We weren't talking about the crowd, but like, yo, yeah, they came out. He was wearing,
we had a drummer.
He was wearing his buffs. He knew he was. I think he was wearing buffs. He was wearing some glasses.
We had the young actress. Yeah.
Oh yeah.
The young actress who played young Clarissa Shields did the national anthem. So,
man,
and we had different voices sing. Different voices sing was the same. So,
word they played the whole.
Not the whole. No, we got the first. We got the first verse.
Hey.
That's dope.
Shout out to Clarissa.
Did she bring out the city? That's the real question. Did she bring out the city on a Sunday?
They came out.
Monday. People gotta go out on Monday. Like she brought out the city. She's a superstar. She's box office. But I just want to see those numbers so we could argue, or not argue, but like have conversations with some of these fighters that think they're prime time, who fight on ESPN thinking like, I fought on ESPN. I made the most. I don't want to talk about the fighter right now, but I had the most look.
So let's hit some points here. So she becomes undisputed at heavyweight.
Okay.
All right.
Right.
So this is her third weight class that she's become undisputed at. I don't know if this is for certain, but I'm pretty sure. Does she hold all those belts simultaneously, or like I don't know?
She's holding two. It was another division. I believe she's holding two of the undisputed titles simultaneously.
So there's that.
You can, yeah, because isn't that what Usyk wants to do right now?
Correct.
He wants to go back down and
away.
Yeah.
This was a very tall task for her. I mean, quite literally, 6'2", 200-pound woman. She thought that the weight limit was 175.
Okay, how does that happen? Like honestly, I'm like, things are in black and white once you sign contracts.
So
they're in black and white.
Is it the promotional company? I don't know.
Yeah, that's bad. That was tough to hear, honestly.
Yeah,
that was somebody needs to iron out those details for real.
We got another comment here. What we got?
You see any comments?
She went viral, but can't compare women's boxing to men's.
Ooh.
Oh no, not
I'm gonna show that.
Not right now. Women's boxing is on its way to new heights. What women's boxing can have a major headline is an undercard like we saw last night.
So
it was terrible. So that has to be supported.
Those undercards,
Shields, when you have her event, we know she's gonna show out and bring out good talent, so boxing fans can anticipate the main event.
So here's the problem with that. So number one, I think this was her toughest test. like I was about to say, a significant weight advantage, significant height advantage on her opponent. Length, okay, her opponent had a wide stance, and I was generally concerned about Clarissa becoming overconfident and letting her hands go, and being susceptible to catching one of those big shots just from
getting clipped.
Yeah.
Clarissa was sharp, extremely sharp.
Extremely sharp.
And one thing I can appreciate about her, she seemed to have, as time goes on and gets even better.
Yeah.
The skills get sharper, the confidence grows even more. And she really wasn't at risk a lot of times. The knockdown late in the fight was a slip with a straight right hand. And that was beautiful. That was absolutely beautiful. And
I got even more nervous when she went to the shoulder roll. So I'm like, but it proved to be a calculated trap that she set. So
I think she was comfortable with this opponent. And to be honest, like you said, physically, the Danielle Perkins is the opponent, right? She looked like she was gonna impose herself on Clarissa, and in all actualness,
the activity was.
Ivana Macho did a way better job with Miss Shields than that opponent did. It looked like Clarissa knew how to handle that person, knew how to find her angles. It was yes, it was heavyweight, big opponent, but still, it was just. She was just a ring general. She controlled that whole thing. She looks so good. I won't lie to you. She looks so good.
Also,
she looks so good.
Also, the third round where she had her wobbled, I was explaining. I said, this is the gift and the curse, the double-edged sword when it comes to women's boxing, because there's too many rounds. And so, when she's giving flurries and okay, here's the rounds over. Okay, you escape, but now you got her hurt in the third. And now it's only 2 minutes, so you don't have enough time to actually take her out.
Get out of there.
So that fight could have been over in the third.
if Clarissa goes to the body and does not hit hunt, the fight's over. She didn't need it. So when she had her days, you go to the body, then go right back to the head. The fight is over. And I think it's in the fighter you want to hunt, you want to kill. So you're aiming for that head, but that body will make them fall, man. I really wanted her to get the stop. I really wanted her to get and she wanted it too. She wanted it too, and I really feel like that was
I felt like
I
was thinking that it was going to be a solar plex shot just because
the height, the target that target area was a big target for her.
Facts.
But, Strap, you had a question about the referee Strap?
Yeah. Okay. So like the two gentlemen here, LT and Kam Gee, they saw the fight. I could not watch it live because it was late, and I watched the highlights and I saw the activity from the referee, and I think the referee could have stopped that fight a little bit earlier than most, because the other opponent, Perkins, looked to have been off her campus or marbles with earlier than the knockdown, and I could see her eyes roll back with the exchange and the clinch, and the referee just let that thing go on until the bell rang. And am I wrong for seeing that, or was I? Because I didn't see the full fight.
So there's some irony here, right? So in my head, I seen the co-main, quote unquote, and I said, why is Steve Wilkes not doing the main event?
Yes, he's much more experienced.
Where they tackled the dude out of the ring.
That was Steve Wilkes refereeing that fight.
And so that's also the ironic part about this is because he probably should have stopped that fight around. He should have
stopped it because there were unanswered shots. These were like straight ping, 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 and then clinch. And I'm like, that girl is not okay. That clinch is survival, and after the clinch broke, I think the bell rang. And then when they came back, there was that big shot that kind of turned the lights off, and she kind of like went, knees down and head. Like I'm like, oh no, that's damage right there. You gotta just take an executive decision. Even with the clinch, I could see Carissa was lifting her up, kind of like keeping her. It was not
Yeah,
like a full real.
Well,
It was not like a clinch.
there's also a doctor there, so I mean, I can't put the
and
even
the
though that
corner,
ref, even
and
though
the
that
corner.
ref, even though that ref shouldn't have been doing that fight. I don't, you know,
We've seen
there's
we've
also
seen
a doctor there.
we've seen fights being stopped with unresponsive. We've seen the second Wilder Fury where Wilder was like, I can keep going. No, you're not all right. You're not all right. Like I could see you're not all right. Like I don't care if you're clinching. I don't care. You just not in. You're not in. You're not here with us right now. So relax.
It's referee discretion.
Yeah.
So tell me this. Is this where the WWE got this rule from? The double count out? Because this is my first time seeing it in professional boxing where two men are outside of the ring. There's a 15 count, and the first guy that gets back into the ring is the winner. Like
that was crazy.
That was secondhand embarrassment.
I never seen that.
This is coming off of the same season. Crazy. Coming off the same season where we seen a fair catch free kick in the NFL. Hey, what's on your bingo card for 2025?
Right. No, man, that was extremely embarrassing. And I actually chewed my guys out today for their performance because I said you will not go on TV and be out of shape. I swear for God, you will not do boxing that way. You will be in shape. And you would never look like what we just saw last night.
That guy's a former golden national
Ben Whitaker and that one. Those are the two. I'm like, yo. And I watched the Ben Whitaker one where I
don't know. They fell out the ring, but it wasn't the same. It was.
You could tell Ben Whitaker was getting the bing bang boom boom, and he was just like, "Yo, let me end this one real fast. Let me."
This was
we clinch and then turn it. Yeah, that was crazy.
Yo, uncle's fighting in the backyard, falling into a car.
Yeah, man. I just think, you got to do a better job of matchmaking underneath. Like, I hate to say it, but Perkins wasn't a huge name, so you got to get somebody like at least like a Blair Klopp or a AB on the undercard. You got to have some kind of sideshow factor.
Something.
Yeah.
Not what we got last night. So Sunday boxing, yes, good undercard. We did not have that. We need good undercard matchups.
Thanks.
Mm-hmm. All right, I think we kind of drained that one for.
Yeah, but a salute to the GOAT. And I want to see what her numbers look like I said earlier. So these are like bargaining chips I'm not saying but when fighters can control that narrative with promoters and say, hey, nah, you're not gonna, I am, first of all, I'm a woman and I'm black and I'm selling out like this. So pay me like the dudes, because apparently I was Googling, and that could be wrong. Forgive me, I'm not pocket checking, but $100 and something thousand for this fight. He's a superstar. Like, she deserves to at least 8 figures. I don't know, but I don't know about anybody's worth. But I'm just saying,
approaching 200,000. Was that just ticket sales? Was that the gate?
I think that was the initial, just straight up
the gate. So.
Right, we'll have to see what comes out.
The numbers are
because guaranteed. Yeah.
Because I think Miss Shields needs to be. She's box office. Like, that girl has been putting in work for a long time. I think she should touch a ticket plus, at least $1 million plus for her. She is the best woman fighter that we have. Like, she needs to be in millions, like not 100,000, 200,000. I mean, and I'm not the moral police here trying to equalize everything. I don't know what the business is, but I feel from her stardom, she is bigger than a lot of these male fighters that get more money.
We just have to hope that she inspires a generation of female fighters behind her, and a rising tide lifts all boats. So it'll be the next generation to reap the benefits of what she's doing right now. It probably won't be her. Unfortunately, that's what happens. That's what happens when you're a pioneer.
She's a revolutionary. You know what I'm saying? You still gotta keep that fight going. Even though you may not see the victory, but there is victory in your progress.
Facts.
Push that shit.
All right,
There
let's
we
go.
go.
I don't want to talk about, but let's talk about it. Man, Stylebender got knocked out again. How
Yeah,
can we
man.
slice and dice this any other way?
So
Um,
is he just? I don't know. The eye poke, man. I would have had to get myself straight a little bit longer after the eye poke.
bro, that sneaky that sneaky left hand caught him. It looked like that sneaky left hand caught him, and once it connected, and he was in panic mode. And I think, salute to his opponent Nazardine Imamov, and I didn't know about him, the French fighter, but I definitely Friday night or Friday morning, what time? Afternoon.
Right.
We all got to know who he is in Saudi Arabia. That this guy is the truth, man. He took out a legend. Izzy is undeniably one of the people that brought me into mixed martial arts because, I mean, I relate to dude, man. I relate to him not only just being a black fighter, but also he's character. He's story. He's the way he sells fights. He's charisma. He's unapologetic nature. And it was a good ride. It was a good time having him in the UFC. Sometimes for some legends, and they say this fighters are the same as rappers. They're the last person to know that they're old at rapping. Like the fans will be like, "Nah, I'm not buying your music." A fighter will not know it's time to. The same way as you have a 50-year-old rapper still trying. I got one more in me. I got one more in me. I got one more. Same thing as a fighter. We've seen our greats go out like that, man. Like Roy Jones fighting in Russia. I was like, nah. Evander Holyfield. We've seen that with Bernard Hopkins, getting knocked out of cleared him out of the canvas.
I think I asked if we talked about this fight, if we were seeing the decline, would this continue? And not taking their time with the eye poke, a veteran like himself should understand that. He understood the risk, decided to continue, so it's hard to give him the benefit of the doubt,
right?
With that, because
Right.
It's such a thing. Everything matters at that high level. If your vision is impaired, you need to take your time so that you can avoid a situation like that. And unfortunately, it just seems that we're at a point in his career where he's slowing down.
Yeah.
And he's 4-5 in his last 9 bouts.
And it's been the tail end of his career where he's been getting these L's. And I think it's not a physical thing that he's struggling. It's actually when your chin gets checked and you get knocked out, I think the next fights, something happens where you get a glass jaw. Something just happens. I mean, because he used to eat the most furious hits. But ever since Pereira came in and straightened him out, he came back, beat Pereira. After that, everybody else has been taking their turn on this dude. And I love dude. But sometimes, I don't know if it's a head trauma thing where like Amir Khan, when Amir Khan was not getting beat up, but when he got beat up by one time, everybody else had to take their rounds on Amir Khan from Canelo and everybody just knocking him out. You just know him. Like that's what's happening to Israel right now.
Hey, those shots add up very quickly.
Yeah,
very quickly. So
you don't want to call him glass jaw, only any of them type of names, because bro, he's more fearless than me. I would never put myself in that type of situation. Respect, I'll never call anybody a glass, because I'll be the glass jaw. But geez, we want our legends to go out on their own terms. I like that, but man, can't you not read the room and say,
might be time for him to fight Jake Paul?
No.
Yeah, go ahead.
No.
Go ahead. Go ahead, get a bag, man. Go ahead. No, this is for his.
Jake Paul is called the legend killer. Like
No, he needs to be appropriately compensated for his career. We don't care what happens.
But Jake Paul beat Anderson Silva. He beat Tyson.
We don't care.
Like Jake Paul is the retirement house for last
Hey,
will.
those guys are, are going to the bank with a big bag. They don't care. We know what's up. We know Izzy's career is incredible. Go ahead and get a bag with Jake Paul, and then L or Dub, whatever. We good with it.
I agree.
We appreciate your service. Here's his donation.
Facts.
Send you on your way.
Izzy gave us some of the most memorable times in the UFC. So salute to you, Izzy. Salute to the guy, the gentleman that won. Hopefully you get a title contending fight in the middleweight. But hey, it was one of those that it's hard to see when one of your, like, Izzy was larger than life like 4 or 5 years ago. Like when we started the show, LT, like 4 or 5 years ago, man, Izzy was like, we did our Mount Rushmore, man. I think I put Izzy in there. I don't know if I put Izzy in there, but I may have. We may have to run back and do because we did top 10 boxers. We may have to do a show again, doing our top 10 boxers and then top 10 MMA. I don't think LT, yours is not going to change because you went for legacy acts. I remember you adding in, you add Butterbean, and you went for it that time. So
those are my honorable mentions. My honorable mentions, yeah.
Speaking
of eye pokes and hard to see.
Damn.
Oh geez. That is actually cool. That yo, bro. Let me see if I could make some. I could do something here, bro. That was. There you go.
All right.
Shara the Bullet, Magomedov. You know how he looks like? They say eye pokes, but he's a one-eye fighter who can only fight outside the United States. That's why he fought in Saudi Arabia. If you know MVP, Michael Venom Page, legend. He has his compilation. You go watch his compilations. You'll be intrigued. His theatrics, how he incorporates different elements from anime to all sorts of things. But he's primarily karate, kickboxing, Muay Thai style. To Shara Magdamanov, they call him Shara the Bullet, and his nickname also is something to do with the pirate because of his one eye. The big tell on this fight was when MVP spoiler, MVP won the fight through unanimous decision. But
you can't spoil it. You can't spoiler alert a fight, dog.
right. Yeah.
It's out there.
MVP won the fight. MVP won the fight and pulled out a ring. Did you see that, Joy? The MVP ring, and he said, "I'm the captain now." That was fire. Playing with the whole theme of his opening being the captain because of the one eye and his whole
pettiness.
Yeah, he's petty. But how do you feel being a disabled person, Loki? That's a real conversation. How do you feel being a disabled person if you're a world-class fighter? If the disabled person is a world-class fighter, bro, you're fighting a one-eyed boxer, but he's still a professional boxer. How do you feel about that?
Are we trying to diminish MVP's handing the first loss?
I'm just trying to create interesting content. Okay, you beat him.
Look, he don't. I know he don't see himself as disabled. He's out here high skills pays the bills.
So let's paint this picture, Strap. You're at a red light.
Right.
You look to your right, and there's a elderly person with a handicap sticker.
Right.
But they're revving.
Right.
You gonna let them go first, or are you gonna?
Depends on the mood that I'm in, and the time, and the what I need to where I'm heading, and there's a lot of elements that will change. We'll decide what I'll do.
Okay, and whether or not there's a baby on board, right?
But for real, like bringing it back to
Hey, buckle up,
hey,
son.
hey, bringing it back to real perspective. Shara's a fantastic fighter. I mean, he's from Dagestan, man. Those guys are like born to like wrestle bears and stuff like that. You talk about Khabib and all them dudes. They're strong as nails. So in this fight, like most people thought this was the coming of age for Shara because I don't know how Dana White puts these fights together. He loves to legend kill, to make a star, like an upcoming star look like, yo, he just beat MVP. But no, MVP came and rained on that parade and was like, yo, I did lose like my last 3 fights, but I'm not losing to this one-eyed fighter, bro. I'm sorry.
Feeding legends to prospects and contenders.
Yeah, and I understand that. That's like Vince McMahon, WWE classic. You have to create, like for the new face, you have to create a legacy. You just don't bring a new face and say, no, but
passing the torch.
Shawn Michaels said, I beat Hulk Hogan, or I beat this person to be this. So like that's the whole theme to UFC, and that's why people like it. It's like a men's opera, like what the series, like what them type of series, like what they call them. It's because
how ironic that they're both on the same stock, traded as TKO.
Interesting. Interesting. So yeah, like I think MVP kind of dismantled the cards, and a lot of people may have thought he was going to lose. I didn't see Adesanya losing, but hey, MVP maybe clawing himself back into contention, and he may be at his older age, maybe putting himself in the mix where he will be on one of them big UFC cards fighting. And I wouldn't be surprised with his weird style, just knocking out somebody we think is special, and MVP's like, champ.
I mean, here's the thing with UFC, man. We keep getting Michael Chandler because he's entertaining and he has a style that we want to see. And so as long as you're entertaining and you deliver a style that the people want to see, there's a place in the UFC for you.
You'll be there.
All right, let's move on to the next. We only have a few minutes here. I won't go into depth on this one, but we'll talk about Sergey Pavlovich versus Jozinho Rozenstruik. If you know both of these guys, heavyweights, big dudes. We have the Russian versus the guy from Serene, and that's a colony of Netherlands. If you know Jozinho Rozenstruik, he came from he didn't come from ONE FC, he came from I think K1. He's a karate Muay Thai guy. Very good at striking, very powerful dude. He lost his fight through the unanimous decision and to Sergey, and Sergey is I don't know what he's ranked. I think he's ranked number 4 or 5 in the UFC. So big things are going for Mandem. We'll move on to the next.
We can park it right here.
Okay, let's park it right there. War. War. That's his mantra. He's trying to bite off my man
Marvin Hagler.
Marvin Hagler. War. Let's talk about David Chisora versus Otto Wallin. And Otto Wallin is secretly he is giving our best fighters one of the hardest fights ever. Like every good fighter gives them a hard fight, besides a few maybe. Did he like kind of rip Tyson Fury's eye or whatever, and he had the whole thing where Fury had to dodge him? I have to Google this, but I remember he may have given Fury a hard time too.
Yes, Fury required 47 stitches to a cut.
Yeah, I remember him. Yeah.
Was that a headbutt?
I can't remember, but he was doing great on that fight. He was actually he could have almost beat Fury. Fury was running from dude the whole fight.
Yeah, he had to. Oh, that's when he had the American trunks on in Vegas.
Right.
He had to avoid worsening that cut, but the judges all had him 118, 110, 117, 111, 116, 112. So pretty decisive. He's
a very troubling fighter. I mean, yes, he got TKO'd by AJ, but he's one of them guys hardly like loses, and he's a problem. But people, and he's also like 6'5", 6'6", 6'7". He's a big Sweden dude. Swedish, I think is what they call him. Swedish. He's a Swedish dude. Only lost, and you know, people try to avoid him. He gave Fury a fight. Like he gave Fury a fight. So, technical fighter, very strong, very big. Chisora, bruiser. How else can I describe Chisora, man? Especially in this late stage, I don't think Chisora wants to go all 12 rounds. He's old.
Yeah, it's a 10-round fight. They bringing in Mr. Otto Wallen to take an L to Derek Chisora. He's a name. He can sell tickets over there. And then looks like we'll have an early start time if you want to tune in, because this will be at the Co-op Arena in Manchester. Right. That's about a 5 o'clock main event time typically over there.
Early predictions. What do you guys have?
Oh, this is food for Chisora. You know,
I say Otto. I'll give him mine early. Otto wins by split decision.
Ooh.
This could be a retirement fight for Derek Chisora as well.
That's what he's been doing. He's calling it
last check out the door.
41 years old. Yeah.
He's calling it the last dance. Chisora is calling these fights the last dance.
So I mean, we could, this could be the end of the line. So we'll see how he performs. I'm sure if he has a bad performance, he'll probably announce a retirement in the ring. You know, that's how that goes.
I think people like Chisora will fight till like they're 50. He will say he's retired, but there's some people I cannot see them do anything in life besides fight.
Chisora is like Kevin Holland of the UFC.
Yeah. He's always right. Yeah, that's Kevin Holland. Yeah. Okay, let's talk about Valentine's Day, February 14th.
We got a little lead up to that, but
okay,
we can just mention it.
We'll pull up before this next fight.
Yeah.
What do we have? What do we have leading up to that? Remind me.
Oh, it's the day. The 14th will be on a Friday, I believe.
Yeah.
We'll have a visit with the three of us before that day.
Got it. Yeah. We don't really have to tackle that right now. So, all right. So, as been said, we had a busy week end of fighting, and just like that, ladies and gentlemen, episode 42. It's the same crew. Whoa. Who's fighting? Kam Gee, LT. Hey, who's fighting?
Who's fighting?